Ticketmaster has to pay a $10 million fine for hacking a rival company. Um, Basically, Ticketmaster repeatedly accessed the computer systems of one of its competitors without authorization. The online ticketing company agreed to the fine after being charged with 5 counts of computer intrusion and fraud by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of New York, the Justice Department said Wednesday. So, what they did was kind of crazy. They got an ex employee. I'll just read it through. So, what they did was a subsidiary of Live Nation um,
It was
stole the
Live
information
Nation.
to get it in.
It was Live
It
Nation
is a
that did it.
subsidiary of Live
Oh
Nation.
wow, wow,
Yes. Ticketmaster
wow,
is a subsidiary of Live Nation.
wow.
So the company used the stolen information to gain an advantage over CrowdSurge, which merged with Soundkick in 2015 and later was acquired by Warner Music Group in 2017. By hiring a former employee to break into its tools and gain insight into the firm's operation. The antitrust lawsuit was filed against Live Nation Entertainment in December 2016, specifically in Ticketmaster's division. It was later amended to accuse the stealing, excuse them, excuse me. It was later
Hmm.
amended to accuse them of stealing of trade secrets by means of former SoundClick employees. So basically, they were using the past SoundClick employees to get as much information from the office as they could. They used a system of URLs that were hidden in the web pages to maintain a spreadsheet with every artist Soundkick was working on with pre-sales, and then Ticketmaster could then contact those artists to try to persuade them to sell the tickets through Ticketmaster instead. So
Wow.
basically, they were basically going under the ship and diving in and taking people away from Soundkick. Um, and it wasn't Soundkick at that point; it was called Crowd Surge at that point. But it's still illegal. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to take former employees and have them go into a office, go into basically their office tools that they probably have some kind of access to if they know enough passwords. If they have enough clearance, they probably will still get in there for a while.
Yeah. They might have their user knocked off, but they might have other passwords to infiltrate their system somehow. Yeah, that's wow, wow,
I mean,
wow.
they pled guilty to it. In 2019, Zaidi pled guilty, who is the head of not head of Ticketmaster, but that specific area division, pled guilty and related to conspiring to commit computer intrusions and wire fraud for participation in the scheme. So I mean,
Yeah.
this has been a long time coming, but it's good to see that Ticketmaster finally gets a $10 million fine for something.
Yeah, they were. I was reading an article. It was something I was thinking of sending you, where they actually send people in to see how vulnerable uh their systems are. They'll have people. I think it was an AT&T person or whatever they were talking about. How he had like the badge. It wasn't even a legitimate AT&T badge. He'd walk into like certain stores or whatever it is, say that he was a tech, get information from the computers, on jump drives or whatever it is, just to see how secure their system was, how the people were handling, handling people coming in that didn't come with the proper authorization to come in, and people were coming in and they were taking people's information, the phone numbers and the people that own the phone. So if they wanted to, they could have accessed the phone. It was luckily it was just a privacy thing or whatever it was, to see if they can get it. They weren't actually stealing it, thank God. You know what I mean? But it goes to show you this is like something similar where it's like you get the right people in the right space, you can go in there. I'm surprised the dude that they didn't lock the dude
It's
up,
Mike
right?
in Better Call Saul.
Yeah, man.
They did not lock him up, but they did not lock him up yet.
Wow.
He just pled guilty to it, so it was a wire fraud charge. So he probably got probation.
Wow. Wow. That's crazy.
What
Yeah,
I was he's Mike in Better Call Saul, basically. I don't know if you've seen
yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah,
He
yeah,
just
yeah,
walks right in. Yep.
yeah, yep, yep, yep. Wow. Wow, man. This world, like security wise, like I don't play games when it comes to my passwords. I don't play games. I'm not saying I'm the most, best password protected place in the world, but I do my best to try to keep everything that I have secure. and to myself, and because nowadays I've had my credit cards been tampered with. I still feel like I've been violated. I feel like my social security is somewhere out there. You know what I mean? I feel like I don't know,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
It's pretty scary, man. I mean, they'd be disappointed to see how like my credit and everything is, but yeah, that's pretty crazy out there, man. And it's only gonna
I
get
mean, this
worse.
is more about this
It's,
isn't more about even espionage. This is espionage between companies. So this is not even personal our personal information, which they probably could have had access to. It doesn't look like they spread out any of that kind of information, but it's not like Live Nation and Ticketmaster don't have a kind of
database of
dark
everybody.
history.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
dark history of none of losing information, of actually being hacked and losing information that way.
It's crazy about these Ticketmaster places and stuff. If people don't throw concerts and all that certain thing, a lot of times they hold your money. Like I've heard situations where
Yes.
they'd have a concert and certain situations cause the concert not to go through or something happened, and you won't get a refund. And I'm like, that's screwed up, man. So I'm like, in a way, it's kind of funny that they're like, all right, well now you screwed yourself. You got greedy, and it sucks that they did it now because I'm sure they're losing a lot of money because of COVID and everything, right? So
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
no,
know,
it's a
man.
huge consequence of COVID actually. There's a lot of people who I know, like I have money that Live Nation is holding.
Yeah.
But I hope that the festival will happen in September of next year. I have no sureties and I will get my money back if that doesn't happen, but a lot of people have had Ticketmaster and Live Nation hold their money
Hmm.
and wait until the concert was supposed to happen, and then they got the refund after that. Um, it's
So the
not.
concert,
It
the
really
concert
depended
hasn't
on.
happened. It hasn't happened yet, or is it like what's the
Oh,
situation?
the one that I'm waiting for is a festival. The one that I'm personally waiting for is a festival that is. It's Bonnaroo. It's in Tennessee. Um, they moved it back to September of next year.
Next
Of
year,
this
okay.
year. It's 2021 now, right?
Yay!
Yeah. So let's just like be honest. They moved it back from June because they were like, I'm not sure that COVID will even allow that because I believe that we need to get up to at least 50% of the country by May, or we're in serious trouble still of
Oh,
vaccines. We need 50% of the population or more vaccinated. I don't even know if that'll happen. So
like you were saying
I'm
before,
I'm making a bet. I'm making a bet basically.
yeah, yeah. You said before, like they were talking about the rate we're going. It'd be 10 years before we all get vaccinated. They said hopefully they'll step it up with Biden. I hope it's not 10 years. That'll be freaking crazy. But I don't think it's gonna be 10 years. I think they're gonna eventually step things up. You know,
Yeah.
but just like everything else is going to be super delayed, right? Like, there's, oh, we're going to get our checks. We're going to get this. We're going to get that. And like 9 months later, okay, where is it? Finally, a check. It's half of what they gave us last time. Okay, whatever. So let's see what they do with these vaccines and everything else. Hopefully,
Well, the real
they said there's another vaccine that's quicker to produce and it's more stable in less cold environments. I don't know. I got to do more research on it, but I heard something about that. I'm hoping that that's true because then that can expedite some of this stuff. But we'll see.
Yeah, the Moderna vaccine is actually doesn't need to be refrigerated at the same low temperature. Um, doesn't mean the efficacy. I think the efficacy is like 5% less, but that's not that much. That's not statistically relevant. 95% versus 90% isn't statistically relevant.
Yeah,
Um, Especially for that because they that's a percentage between like a small group of people. So the bump could be like 2 to 3% between either of those studies. Um, we'll see. We'll see. Honestly, you're right. Like those Moderna vaccines are going to be really important because they do not need to be refrigerated at that level. I know that my mother has spoken about it, and a lot of this has more to do with what job you have,
yeah,
and that's really what is negative about the way our system works is that capitalism is going to take the forefront on this, and we need somehow a social program to take the forefront on this and be like, no, you should be able to get a vaccine right now, you should be able to get a vaccine, you should be able to get a vaccine. And yes, I know. For instance, like if you're an older person with a compromised immune system, you're most likely going to be able to get it in the first 2 months.
Yeah.
But if you're just somebody with a disability, I have a differing ability. I have epilepsy. I don't have any idea when I will be able to go get a vaccine, and I should probably be getting a vaccine within the third or fourth month, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
hoping, but I'm more assured that a job will get me the vaccine
Yeah.
faster than
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So
I,
when work returns, I'm sure somebody will ask me, "Have you gotten the vaccine? We have this availability to get the vaccine." And that's what I'm kind of reality waiting for, in
yeah.
reality.